What is happening? Dirty South Podcast here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this. Thank you for watching. Cabra Wrestling, Essie Wrestle, Brant Parsons, Jason Fulmore, yours truly, Ward Wrestling. And it is that time of the year. It is crazy. It is loco. Wrestling is happening everywhere, every day, all day. And I know, Jason, Florida is on fire right now, but you just went through the fire with the other states. So, what is happening?
Yeah, so you know, it's one of those things. I hope everybody appreciates it because like you y- you finish the weekend and you're just exhausted. I mean, you guys are all I mean, like all the wrestlers, all the coaches, everybody's
Yep.
exhausted and everything else. And I came back and I've got like, I don't know, 5,000 pictures to process. And, I wanted to do a write up of all the different things that happened and everything else. But I just want to breathe. Like, I mean, I
Yeah.
just want to stop for a minute and not, do anything. I haven't really looked at Florida very much. I know the girls' districts happened and now region brackets are coming out. And that's what we're going to talk about today for the girls. And I'm leaning heavily on YouTube because I just ran out of steam. And so we're going to talk about Georgia and Alabama a little bit, but I just hope everybody kind of recognizes that, you come back from these things and it's not as if you just have so much time to be able to kind of do what you want. You immediately go to something else, you're exhausted, and that's just the way it works.
I always say I am someone who does not like to be alone with my thoughts. And I mean, you guys can understand
We don't
that.
want to be alone with your thoughts either.
Yes. But after the state tournament on Saturday night, when I leave Silver Spurs for my drive home, it's the only time I ever drive my car with no sound, no music, no talk radio, no sports, because I'm just so spent. I can't process anything more. All I can do is just not hear, think, or do anything and just kind of drive home because you're just so exhausted. And you have to like pick it back up now because you did the sprint at the end, you finished, and then they're like, all right, well now you gotta go do another one. But it's the culmination of everything. And I can speak for you guys because I know you guys do this too, but like this, well, it's year round for me, but like the real prep for the season starts like August, September when I start talking to coaches. I
Yeah.
mean, so this has been going, and it's obviously snowballs to right now to where I don't even see the sun, but it's such a I don't want to say relief because I miss it when it's over, but it's tough, and you just went through that, and now you have to pick yourself back up and ramp up a little bit again for Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those it's really honestly one of those things where at the end of it I always look at it and I go, I'm not doing this again. Like that's just stupid. And then and then
Yeah.
I
Very
start and then I
vulnerable.
start going through the brackets and I start looking at different things that happened and I saw this team won that like it was so cool and all this happened and everything else and I'm like, oh man, I'm way back in.
Oh yeah.
Alabama seeds their tournament and I was just going through it last night and the number of like four seeds who kind of surprised everybody and came through and it's so much fun to do, but man, you just are just it's actually it's not dissimilar to being a wrestling coach. I mean, I remember being a coach and getting through the season and be like, I don't want to step back in that room again for a while. Like, I mean, I'm done, man. And I'm
See,
sure
while
the
I'm
same
doing my
thing.
work now, though, I'm building stuff for next season already. Like
I
that,
know.
it goes through as I'm doing this, I'm getting prepped so when March 8th comes, I can jump back in.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like Dan said in the intro, we did have Alabama and Georgia who finished up. Just to give everybody a kind of an overview of today, I think what we're going to do is I'll give you guys a quick rundown of those two states and kind of what happened, and make the basic headlines. The big things, things that even you guys know. Even you guys might know. But uh, but then uh, but then I think it's important to jump into Florida because while the girls did their districts, we have some new things happening down in Florida that I think are pretty interesting. I can't wait to see how they play out. But we'll get to that in a second.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree. And Well,
We're boring, Dan.
as far
I know.
as
Sorry,
oh,
man. We keeping you up.
my eyes got a little.
He was up late watching ski jumping, so
I was doing this, but um, well, as far as the Southeast is concerned, the stuff you're going to talk about, I mean, can you please tell me how many Mills won titles?
I can answer
Well,
that one.
according to Flow Wrestling, there were a lot. No, there were four one titles. I will say that nobody's surprised by Antonio winning his fourth. Nobody's surprised about Taquavius winning his second. No one's surprised about Araya winning his first. But we are a little surprised by the younger sister, who I guess maybe is the same age as Araya. If you hold back a year, I mean, I don't know if they're twins or if they're whatever the case is, but they're both freshmen. Dominique Mills came in, and she is a great athlete, but I don't know that she's a great wrestler yet. But being a great athlete can carry you a long way, especially on the girls' side where you get out of position, maybe a little bit more often than the boys do. The girls are still kind of growing and that sort of thing, and she took advantage of it. She nearly lost her semifinal match, but came back and won it, and then or held on to win it. But she went out there and got a pin in the finals, and yeah, man, the Mills crew, woo, they rolled through. They rolled through.
How wild was the Mills family when she won it?
They were they were I at one point in time, you could just see Araya like just bouncing off the walls. Like he was way more excited for her winning it than for him winning it.
It's so cool.
It's like he's ready to jump onto the mat and give her a hug. I'm like, Araya, you can't do that, man. Like, I mean, that's not the way this works. You know this. You've been around.
Yeah,
Um, and I saw Daddy Mills up in the
he,
stands,
he's so cool. I love that.
and and you know what? They they just are they're just super talented, and they're really good wrestlers. And I don't know. I mean, I saw him at the end of the night and gave him a hug and told him like, man, can't wait to see Antonio and Taquavius do it at the next level, and can't
The
wait to
whole
see
family,
the next crew of
yeah,
Mills come through.
anytime I've ever been around them, they've been so respectful. Every kid, and just to see them, I don't know if Dad's out there trying to make more kids, but keep them coming because they're pretty good.
There's a few of them. There's a few of them. So, um, yeah. So it was pretty cool. Sticking with the girls theme, I think over in Georgia, it was pretty awesome to see. It wasn't pretty awesome. It was awesome to see the first ever four-time champions for the girls in Georgia. Um, the girls. One of the things I appreciate is the girls brackets in Georgia were tough. I mean, they were tough. I mean, they have one classification, just like the girls in Florida. And like 170 had there was a defending state champ at 155 pounds named Ariel Macon from Creekview, and she drew a defending state champion at 170 pounds in her quarter. And I'll kid you not, man, that bracket right there was outstanding. I mean, it was some good wrestling, and they wrestled really, really well. And Ariel, she beat everybody in her way. And I didn't pick her the favorite. And her dad was giving me a little bit of grief, and I was like, I didn't pick her the favorite because she had the toughest road of anybody in the freaking bracket. The people up top had actually the easier road, and I picked one of them to win it because probability wise, she could have gotten tripped up in the quarters. She could have. She wasn't. She didn't. But she had a tougher road. So, but the level of competition was great. Lumpkin County girls absolutely fantastic again. We saw several girls who came down to the knockout, who won state titles for Georgia, which was fantastic. And it was just a lot of fun to watch the girls compete in the state of Georgia. So,
I saw Baby Higgins put another
yep,
title on her
Little
resume.
Higgins doing her thing,
Yeah, good for her. You know, the
no
family's
doubt.
always supported Florida, always come down here, so it's nice for us to shout them out.
Well, and Camden finished fifth as a team. Jefferson, who was down at the knockout and
which is
competed as a
crazy for
team, finished
Camden
third.
because like 2 years ago they brought like one girl down here.
No, no, I
Or,
know.
or
Look out.
I mean, they're invested now, so watch out.
Yeah, no doubt. And Abe is a great coach. And I
Yeah,
will tell you what, yeah, you better watch out because Camden's coming on
yeah.
the girls'
I think it was
side.
like 2 or 3 years ago. I think we saw that and we're like, well, just wait. Now that they're
Well, I
invested
think
in it,
that
and certainly a fifth place finish is it shows they're on the rise.
it's
No
like when we
doubt.
started to watch, oh, South Data's putting a girls' team together.
Aha.
And right. And
Yeah.
so kind of similar in Georgia, right?
Yeah,
Cam,
the thing that's interesting is Camden's always had a girl like so way back when they started many years ago, because they started 3 or 4 years before Florida started, as far as breaking, wrestling for a state
Official.
championship and that
Yeah.
sort of thing. Um, Camden had a girl, but they'd have one. They'd have one here and one there and whatever. And now they roll in with like 10, 12 girls, and okay, like you should be paying attention. On the boys' side, obviously we saw Ryder Wilder finish with an unbeaten high school career, his fourth state title. Unlike in Florida, for everybody who's watching, you are not permitted to wrestle in middle school. So the most you can actually win in the state of Georgia is four. And Ryder Wilder and Antonio Mills were the two men that claimed a fourth title this past Saturday. Just so you know, Dallas Russell and Ty Murray, and I think there were a couple others because it was split into two different groups.
Right.
1A, 3A, 4, 5A was 2 days, and then another group were another 2 days. Um, but uh, but man, it was awesome, and I'm gonna finish with this. Camden rolled again to another team title. I watched South Effingham bounce back. The team that kind of, I don't want to say they fell apart, but Creekview won, I think, pinned five in a row to win in the duel. Well, South Effingham took care of business there.
oh man,
Woodland
no,
won.
no effing way.
Yeah, ha ha ha! I knew that was coming. But I'm gonna give one thing. I'm gonna tell about. I'm gonna share with from the Georgia side is East Jackson High School, which is not a powerhouse in the state of Georgia. It is a small school, 2A. And when we talk about 2A in the state of Georgia, we talk about Columbus High School, we talk about Rockmart, we talk about Lovett, we talk about all these different teams. But East Jackson High School put together a complete team effort to win a team title. And that is pretty cool. Usually you can peg who the team champions are going to be ahead of time. You couldn't do that this year in 2A. And I think that's pretty awesome.
And then
Always makes it more fun.
It is. Yeah,
I
definitely.
know Hunter, who comes down and shoots the state tournament for us.
Yep.
Uh, Came down last year, did some reels for us. He's coming down again this year. I saw his little brother had a good run, huh?
His little brother came. I mean, I don't want to say came out of nowhere because he was a section champ, but yeah, Ty, man, Ty wrestled great and he got the pin in the finals and now is a class 4A state champion in the
It's
state of Georgia for
funny.
Ola High
So
School.
I guess in Georgia they give you a shirt.
Yeah, you get a shirt and 3 years ago, myself and Rocky Kaufman got together and made brackets, and we had them professionally done. And now that is a thing, and everybody now gets a bracket as well. So a shirt and a bracket,
Very
and
cool.
I think a medal.
The reason I ask is when I texted Hunter, um, he said my little brother hasn't removed his shirt since the state tournament. So, so I'd imagine he's not the only kid to ever do that. Um, but that's cool. So
Yeah, I
shout
know.
out
It's
to him and his family.
real quick before we get into the girls, let me just cover Alabama real quick. Shout out to Weaver High School. Again, a very small program in the state of Alabama, but they won both the boys and the girls state titles for the small schools in the state of Georgia or state of Alabama. And a really good program. Their boys, I think, won by like a point. So, woo, very close to Alexandria, who ended up second in both of those. Arab took the 5A team title. Athens won the 6A team title. We pretty much expected both of those to happen. And then a familiar foe came down to knock out this past year. Oak Mountain High School claimed the 7A state title in the state of Alabama. Very good team, very deep team. Again, perspective for people who are from the state of Florida, who are the majority of the people watching this. Oak Mountain went 1-1 against St. John Newman up in Tennessee earlier this year in duels. They lost one match to St. John Newman. They won another match against St. John Newman in a duel. That's how good Oak Mountain is. They're a solid program from top to bottom. So um, and uh, and yeah, Bradley Williams. I've talked about this before. Bradley Williams, John Stewart, some absolutely outstanding individuals that I think could go and compete anywhere across the country. Both of those will wrestle D1 in the future. But tons happened. Always love looking back at the state of Alabama and see where the seating works and where the seating doesn't work. And that is the perfect transition to what's happening in the state of Florida for the very first time.
Woo! For
We
the
have
time.
region seating. Girls regions are this week, and when the districts were input in, there's a formula, and the district champions were seated across the. Now they're not doing this for state, but yeah, they're doing it. They're doing it for region, and
Well, I don't know. I mean, listen, I mean they're doing the best they can right now, and
no, I'm excited for it.
uh,
And listen, and I'm looking at the brackets as I'm working on my preview and predictions that will go live probably tomorrow morning, maybe tonight. Um, it seems to have at least worked. And whether or not the randomness of the FHSAA draws would have helped in some of those cases, but the main point was to get the top two wrestlers to not be on the same side of the bracket,
right.
wrestling in a semifinal. In theory, that opens up, makes the third and fourth spots a little more fair to get to. There's still going to be some, just looking at the brackets, there's going to be a handful of ones where you're going to have someone that maybe has to face two tough wrestlers and won't get to won't make it past the blood round when maybe they're the fourth best wrestler in the bracket, but there's less of that, at least from what I'm seeing so far. It's three of the regions came out and were seated fine. One of them had to be redone because it wasn't seated well. Um, I'm guessing that was a automation thing or whatever, but it's an interesting, it's great. Anytime we do anything forward thinking in the sport, I'm excited. Anytime we do something forward thinking, it takes some kinks and practices, but at least for this set, I think it's okay. Based on my rankings, there's a few in one of the regions where the number one wrestler is not on the top line, in my opinion. But the top two wrestlers are separated, and I think that's the main thing.
That is the main thing.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I mean, it's great that they're doing this. There are going to be some, um, I'm sure some growing pains, like you said, and I think we've seen that through some of the brackets that we've been looking at throughout the last few days. But yeah, like you said, uh, it's good that we're going in the right direction to where they're taking the initiative to do this. So I think so. Yeah, there's some, I think I saw where Zoe McDonald and Jaslyn Diaz are on the same side. That's tough for those two. Um, then
Did
there,
they wrestle in the district? Is that why?
and there's
Wait,
some
who's on
stuff.
the same side?
I mean, now you said they changed stuff the other day, but I thought I noticed that Zoe and Jaslyn were on the same side.
I don't believe they are, but let me pull that up real quick.
Yeah, we
Uh,
need to see that.
I mean, initially I
There were some cases on the first draft of Region 3, and then they took it
They
down,
are not on the
and
same
they're
side.
not on the same
They're on
side.
the complete opposite side
Yeah.
now.
okay, so I think
But as
initially,
it first came across, at
yeah,
least I didn't go past 105 looking.
okay, so as it first came
105
across, I
had
saw stuff like that.
Kira Partello number 2, Grace Jawalski number 1 on the same side of the bracket. It is not the case now. They're separated. Now Grace Jawalski is undefeated and has a win over Partello. She's on line 2 for some reason.
Right.
Kira Partello is on line 1. They're both great
I
wrestlers,
don't care about that.
but all that matters is they are separate. And we're
That's right.
not going to see
So,
them in a semifinal, so I consider that a win.
so then that's a win because I know I was at IOF this weekend and a number of parents slash coaches and just parents came up to me and they were like, "Have you seen this? We listened to the show and we heard Brant and we were excited. And then it came out and we're like, oh shit, that's not good. And then, oh, maybe that one." And then I was like, well, maybe they're going to change things.
Well,
It's
I
the
think what we
first
can learn
year.
from this is be aware that your brackets may change. Um, I have not talked to the coaches. I did not bug any coaches this week about their brackets because I knew eventually they would be fixed. I'm sure they got bugged by 100 people, but it does seem to have worked and it was fixed. And who you're wrestling on Sunday is maybe not who you're wrestling on Tuesday, or a different path or whatever, but they fixed some of the glaring issues in that one. And I don't know any issues on the other ones. I believe those are the same as they were starting on Sunday, and then by last night they had added all the buy fill-ins.
Yeah, I haven't
Um,
seen any changes. The only changes I noticed was in the Region 3, because as I was working through
they
everything,
shut down on you.
yeah, they shut down on me. So I was working through everything, and then all of a sudden I was like, there was like a big stop sign hit me, and I was like, damn it.
But
So
that was when
So
they were fixing and changing it.
I want to make sure that we're very clear with some people I think draw the incorrect conclusion as it relates to seeding, and that is seeding isn't designed to predict who's going to be first, second, third, or fourth. That's not the point of seeding.
It's to keep them
It's
separate.
to keep the top four individuals in that order kind of separate from one another. And like Brant said, number one and number two, most importantly, from one another. And and that's why I think in this situation you concede a district champ. And if you didn't win your district, and even though you have a very tough district, that's just the way that goes. I mean, in Alabama, they will move that person to being maybe number two, and I just don't know that that makes a whole lot of sense to me. I like the way that they've come up with it in this situation of handling the situation as far as maneuvering this, and and it really matters to get the top two on the front side, but
Really,
in
also
years
on the other side
past, it
too.
really happens in your Conci semifinal where if you had the two best, and you guys were just referring to Diaz and McDonald in the
If they're
same
in the
quarter of the
semis,
bracket,
one goes to the other.
somebody's rolling
Yep.
right through and destroying a semifinalist
Yep.
who is now not going to be a state qualifier because of the bracket not being put where it should be put.
To where
And
you would have coaches wondering if hey, should I throw this first match or not wrestle real hard in the second match because that gives me a
that's
um,
right.
favorable trip to the podium, because if we're on this side, we're wrestling the second best wrestler in the state because they're going to lose in the semis to the best wrestler or whoever that is. So it's a huge change, and I think that's where it benefits more than anything. One, it benefits us because then we get to see the finals and the top two wrestlers are in the finals. But it has huge effects on the backside and who's going to punch their ticket, if you will.
Yeah. Hey, ticket punch
Make sure
is
you
coming out soon.
make sure you get those get those through Dan. I think it ended up working really well. There are hiccups along the way, but going through the brackets as I have been constantly the last 2 days, some great matchups, and I think they have it set up for some great finals.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you. And I think that I want everybody to understand that's the purpose. That's the purpose. The purpose isn't to get one versus two in the finals.
Right.
The purpose is to put the two best individuals on the
Yes.
opposite side. If one of them happens to lose in the quarterfinals, well, you still get the situation that we were just talking about, them coming back through.
Yeah.
But if they lost, and that didn't lose
Yeah.
to necessarily the number one.
Yeah, and I mean, having a kid who wrestled in the state of Florida and watching them go through districts, regions, and then ending up at states, you can tell what the strategy was, and you know, especially his final year when he was injured and he had to kind of forfeit out in the third and fourth match just to stay healthy, and that put him in the first match against the guy who ended up winning the state title. Where if he would have been able to kind of been healthy and move forward, he probably would have had a chance
Yeah.
to have a better run there.
Now, if I could add my list of things I want, I'm just kidding.
Right, right.
All
So,
right, so
all
let's
that
take a
stuff,
second. Let's take a second and just very quickly, because our focus this week is got to be on the girls. Their brackets are out. Brant, according to the big box next to Brant's head, the
Yes.
regions previews and predictions are coming soon, which is this afternoon.
Tonight or
Or tomorrow morning.
all of the previews are built. I've done predictions for two of them. I've written one of them, and then I'm doing the rest today.
So I'm going to start with Dan in that I
What?
think that
I was going to say before we get into, we should talk
Yeah.
about the one person who's not in it.
Well, that's actually where I'm going
Okay.
to start. That's where I'm going to start.
Okay,
And
go.
that is, I think because I want to start with Daniel because I think he's the one who told me that this was happening. It might have been you, Brant. But I got a text that said Abby Gonzalez is not in the field. And I'm thinking to myself, what in the world is going on in the state of Florida? So,
and I was at
I don't know if you had the
yeah.
conversation or it was Brant, but one or two of you had gotten the
I
information.
think Brant and I had a conversation with a local coach who
I had a coach reach out to me, and then after it was confirmed, and after it happened, I reached out to Pardo at Southridge, and apparently, any of us not in Miami were the last to know, but because I was like, oh, I'm sure you're getting a bunch of people ask this. He's like, no, everyone here knows what's going on. But back at the Tri-County um, tournament in week 10, week 9, Alexander LaGuardia, I hate it when it says senior next to their name and this happens, got injured. He broke a bone, and he was going to be out for the season. And Abby, on her own, came to the coaches and said, I'll fill in for him because they've got a pretty good team. They're in a race for maybe some district hardware in the toughest district in the state. And she said, I will wrestle 113 in his place to help us out. And they thought about it and they discussed it with the parents or, with Abby's parents and make sure everybody's on board because this is a state champion, most likely on the girl side, probably one of the biggest, favorites that we would have had, and decided that she would wrestle on the boy side. She had to get a weigh-in, had some issues with GMAC. That's a whole other story. I can tell you guys that off the air. But she weighed in there and was able to then compete at 113 for them. And she's there today. She's seated third at 113 pounds in 3A16. And it opened up a spot at 120 on the girl side. And certainly people, as they found out, were shocked by it. When you hear the story, it's like, wow, that's
it's not a spot. It went from this to this. I mean, it was huge.
It opened up.
Yeah.
And all season we've seen people strategically moving away from 120 because of Abby. and
And now
it's wide open. I mean,
I don't know
she
if it's wide open because there's someone there now who didn't run and was healing from an injury. And Kendall Haney certainly looks um, like
oh,
the person to beat in 120
I
now.
did see that. I saw she's back, which I want to say I'm very happy she's back because she is a great young lady, great family. I've loved watching her grow, and she just wants all the smoke. And she comes in and she wrestles hard. And I hope she's healthy. I hope the knee holds up because I love to watch that girl wrestle.
So that's the story. If anyone hasn't heard that by now, I'm sure most have, but
I'm sure most have.
we
Yeah.
questioned it when we first heard it just privately on our chat, but then you hear it's kind of a selfless act for sacrificing what a state title to help the team. I was impressed by it.
Yeah. No, you're
It's
right. I just hate to see it, only because I mean, Abby is okay. This is probably gonna be taken wrong by so many people, and they're gonna disagree with me or whatever. But I mean, she is currently the face of girls wrestling in the state of Florida. I mean, she is absolutely the best individual in the state. She's one of the best individuals in the entire country, in my opinion. And and I understand the reasoning behind it. When she becomes a senior, they're going to be celebrating a four-time state champions or whatever the case is, and she's not going to be one of them. And then history books will not remember the story or the reasoning for why that happened. They're just going to, it'll just go down as she wasn't a four-time state champion or whatever the case was. So,
Right.
um, I'm just throwing that out there. And maybe she will be a four-time state champion. I don't know if she won one when she was an eighth
She was
grader.
a finalist as an eighth grader.
That's
She
right.
she
Uh,
could still be a
she lost
four-time
to Death.
finalist.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So looking to this past weekend, and I'm not going to throw it to anyone directly. I want to just very quickly talk about there were some good matchups in districts. They, some really good individuals who took some L's, and that means that they're going to have to really battle back on the in the region brackets to make the state tournament. Like I said earlier in the conversation, Georgia's girls have become extremely good. The brackets, the wrestling, everything else. I attribute that to one classification and the level of competition. Iron sharpens iron. It's getting better and better and better. And I think the same thing's happening in the state of Florida. I think that the state of Florida, you watch these girls compete against one another, and they're making each other better. And even the ones that are maybe a little bit further down, not the Abby Gonzalez's, but the ones that are, ranked 8, 9, 10, they're getting better. They're competing. The people behind them want to see where the level is, and they're trying to get higher and higher. My question to you guys is, if you were to pick out just a couple of district results from last weekend, I want to say surprised you, but kind of just was of note. Was there a district result that you guys paid attention to?
There are a few. If you haven't been to my site, I listed all 59 upsets.
So I
According to
obviously haven't been to a site. So
according to well, he hasn't, but that's all
yeah.
right. I my email goes to his spam folder too. I don't have special privileges like Dan does on his email. Um, but there are 59 upsets. There was there were no losses by anybody ranked second, third, or fourth, but two number ones fell.
And
One
that
of
was one of the
them
big ones for me.
one of them was maybe the way she did it. It was shocking, but Kenzie Barrett beat Camila Alabi Bravo of Florida Christian. These girls, they're 1-2 heading into the weekend. They've wrestled multiple times. That's not a shocker.
No.
Um, but Isabella McFarlane out of
Yeah.
King, the knockout champ, the Ironman champ, fell to Zada Rea Moore out of Tampa Bay Tech, 3-0 in the final of their district at 170 pounds.
That was a surprise.
I think that's a surprise. Obviously, uh, it certainly puts Moore in a place where we need to have her in the discussion going forward now. Um, but those are the the big ones. Now, as there are a few maybe more massive ones where you had Charnelli Jacques out of Coral Reef beat Amira Williams. That's a 24 over a 7. Um, let me see. There was another big one, Trinity Bradley of George Jenkins. See, I said George Jenkins first on this episode. I think that's a first. Beat number 9, Joya Hodge out of Tampa Freedom, 14-12. Would have loved to have seen that one.
Yeah, it was
Huge win for
apparently.
her.
I remember Tony calling me, going, "Wow, this match was insane."
Well,
Sophie,
and
uh,
Jenkins and Dan's other Jenkins crew at 110, right? You're a big fan of Maya Lee, right?
I like Maya Lee. My problem with those two is I'm a big fan of both of those Ortizes. I
Oh, okay.
both of those Ortizes are wonderful young ladies. I love watching them. I've loved watching them come up, and they have gone back and forth over the last month.
yep.
And I'd love nothing more to see them both continue to go forward.
Well, and it looks
Yeah,
like it was a great match.
3-2.
Yeah.
yeah. Apparently, in the last 8 seconds or something, there was a takedown to win it, is what I'm hearing. Just a week or two before that, the other Ortiz won, Ami, and so they've gone back and forth. And yeah, both wonderful young ladies. I'm wishing them. I hope to see them both on the podium. Yes, that is a matchup that is near and dear to my heart because I like both great young girls.
And I
Well,
just
if
want
we
one
if we
more to
ask you to pick a favorite or something, you could just
yeah,
say Ortiz and you'd be
yeah, you'd
good.
be
I'd be
fine.
good. That's what I would say. I would say I'll take Ortiz to win that match.
You
And
don't
then there
even
was
have
a
to make
number
up
of
you don't even have to make up a word. I just want to do one more and then you can tell me
Yeah.
your since we're talking about close matches that were upsets. 25, Sophia Ramos out of Harmony beats Kaylin Brooks, number 10 Davenport, 13-12. Uh and they may be facing each other again. If they do, make sure you watch that.
You had one on here, and I wondered how this could be the score, and I'm wondering if you just put their record by mistake. Um, but I saw a
It's
score
been a
here.
long week, so that's possible.
I saw a score here. I think maybe it was at 100. It said Lanisha Santana, unranked of Wellington, upsets
23 to
num-
2.
number
That was a
15
tech.
Sarah Newell,
I mean,
23
23 to
to
2 if she had a big scoring move on the tech fall and didn't complete it.
That's right. I mean,
Take down in 4 points, they continue the move. So I would imagine, I mean, that's a crazy score, but
2. Continued
it is
it
a
for like
possible
they
score.
continued it for like 8 more points before they got the tech.
No, I mean a 7 point move. If a seven
Yeah,
point move happens, um,
I was
I'm
like,
sorry,
wow.
what was the final on that? 23-2. So it would have been
it had to be
16-2
9.
beforehand. 16-2
Oh
is
yeah, it was
14
16
points.
too.
So
That's
you're up
right.
14. You do a
Oh,
takedown and
Four near fall
put them
and
on their
get
back,
right to off her
and they're
back.
going to hold you there because if you get the fall, they're going to
right.
give you the points. She gets off her back. Now
They
it's a
have to
tech
wait
fall.
for the completion of everything. I was just like, wow, what an impressive score. And obviously, an unranked young lady from Wellington taking out a top 15 seed there. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, uh, guys, there's so many. I could sit here and talk about them. If you just go to Cabra Wrestling, you will see 59 of these. I've sorted them into weight classes so we could talk about some of them, but it there are some surprises there, and I'm looking forward to seeing what some of these girls do moving forward.
Well, I think the thing that I learned from just the a little amount of time I was able to actually look at it before our conversation was that it sure seemed to me like 105 I mean, we'll see what happens. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
there's a
holy moly.
there's a lot of like,
There's a few
who
like that.
knows? Who knows?
And I confirmed it. She'd take down near fall 7 points. That's what made it
Boom.
23-2.
That's awesome.
All right, so I'm not sure exactly how we want to do this, but I thought we might just jump to the region brackets real quick,
Sure.
and let's pick out like a bracket or two that just looks like a lot of fun to watch. And
Let's
we don't.
start with
Mhm.
region 2 only because they're competing on Friday. So let's
Okay, let's do them
be
first.
chronological. That's the one girls region this as far as what they've said on FHSAA. I've confirmed 3 of the 4. That is on Friday and is at Kissimmee Osceola. And let me pull it up so I can look at it too.
Yep. So I can start, or I
Yeah,
can.
go ahead. Yeah, see what you see and what you want to
Yeah. So for
talk
me,
about.
the thing as I flip through it and I'm looking at it, I'm looking at 115, which has what, seven ranked individuals. But for me, by far the most interesting matchup is your potential final. I don't know if the two have met yet this year. Um, but number two, Maya Alvarado, who came over from Lake Island Prep, and is unbeaten. Kat Kenny, Vieira, up top on the top line, the number three ranked wrestler. Just from a fan's perspective, sitting in the stands, Vieira and Freedom have seen each other during the course of the year, but these two individuals have not crossed paths. Um, yeah, I don't know that it's going to have a huge impact on the rest of the bracket, but it's a bracket that's full of it's full. It's got a lot of ranked wrestlers. The backside will be a lot of fun to watch to see who actually makes the podium and punches their ticket. But if I'm tuning in for one final, that's the final I want to watch.
The thing to watch in Region Two also on a team side is you have Freedom delivered all 14 of their wrestlers through their district. I would say 10 to 12 you can expect to go to Kissimmee. Something to watch on that though, as much as we've talked about getting away from early matchups at 145, you have a possible quarterfinal between Tori Gibson of George Jenkins and Siaja Brown at Freedom, 6 versus 7 in the quarterfinals.
So
Team stuff
explain.
on the line there next week because you want to make sure you're getting, if you're Freedom, you get as many girls over. If Brown should fall to Gibson, just makes it a little tougher road
So
to get
explain.
there.
Just take a second. And explain to the average person how in the world is a seven versus a number 24 in the first round in the same quarter as Gibson. I mean, I know why, but everybody else might be like, well, then the seating's all wrong.
The seating is not wrong. And actually, as I'm looking, I probably have this wrong because it looks like Brown has beaten um, Gibson this year. So my ranking is wrong there. Um, but Soraya Franco of Cypress Creek, who is 32-2 on the year and is now 2-1 versus Brown. She won in their district final. She,
Hmm.
I believe, was the top seeded girl in the region, but she's listed on the bottom. So then the number two finisher in the district is the formula, gets put in that spot, which just happens to be across from uh, the district champion from District 7.
Yeah. So guys, so the thing is that if you have a tough district and you win a really, really good district final against somebody else, it doesn't fix that because the formula still works that
Right.
the only four seeds are your district champions. That means that that loser of that district is still going to go up top and going to have to face someone tough in the quarterfinals. So that's just the way that it works. When you have disparities in the quality of the districts, where some districts are extremely tough, some districts are not nearly as tough. And you're going to see that. I mean, you might see it in Region 4 in the girls, but you're certainly going to see it in Region 4 for the boys in District 16, where there are going to be some kids who are in who are in those quarters facing other district champs who are returning state placers, returning state champions, returning whatever.
And you can
So
see that a lot when you break down like the weight classes in each one of these regions. You can see the weight classes where like two of the four number one seeds are unranked kids coming out of other things, and then there's not a lot of ranked kids in that weight class, and
right.
you can just tell that um, they're going to have a little bit of an easier path to get to Kissimmee than, for example, 145 at Region One or 105 anywhere or one.
I mean, it's just crazy how some weight classes. I mean, there's one weight class where they had no 145s, or one district. There are no 145s in their entire district.
That's crazy.
I can't remember which one that was, but just to go over one more weight class on my side, and Dan, if you have a weight class that you want to talk about, I want to bring up 135.
Okay.
And there are 8 ranked wrestlers in this. You have, according to my rankings, number 5, 6, and 7. Eduarda Franklin Soares from Freedom is on your top line. Gabrielle Asabi, Sun Lake is on your bottom line, and then Kylie Vincent from Harmony. Those are 5, 6, and 7. Now Soares has beaten Asabi, and Asabi has beaten Vincent. But Asabi and Vincent could face off again in that semifinal. And then you have
But the seating looks right.
the seating looks right, but the thing in this one is there's going to be potential potholes. You have Eliza Medina from Toho, Angela Rivera from Bartow, Amanda Cintron from Osceola, Natalia Velez from Timber Creek. Those are 4 girls and Lynette Morales, who we don't know a lot about, but she won the district out of Winter Haven. So you've got 5 girls that could not just mess up maybe some of these other things, but that battle for that 4th spot is going to be exciting in this one. You're going to have a bunch of girls that I feel are all around the same level and talent wise, that the backside of 135 could be as exciting as the front side.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, I mean, for anybody who's new, this will be quite a statement for anybody who has been around for a long time. This you will completely agree with it, and that is the Conci semis to punch your ticket is just. I mean, it might be a as um more nerve-wracking a match than finals. Like, I mean, these kids really, really
It's
want to
the
make that
hardest
trip.
round
It
of
really
wrestling to
is.
watch.
It's hard to watch.
It is so hard to watch because you will see seniors
To lose, and
come up short,
that's right.
and you will see top wrestlers come up, top ranked wrestlers that have big plans that are maybe hurt or various reasons come up short. It is the toughest to watch. I'm sure it is the toughest to coach. It is um, just a heartbreaking round, but on the other side, it is a euphoric round
It
where
is.
one side has booked a trip to the state tournament and the other side season has just ended like that. It is unbelievably a tough round.
Yeah,
But
it's
everybody should experience once as a spectator,
no, don't
because
go.
it is
Terrible.
just so hard to watch.
Don't go do that. Yeah, even obviously, and then I mean, like if you have a blood round kid that's a senior at state and they lose that blood round
It's
match,
pretty hard. Yeah.
and you see them in the hallway there on the floor with the parents and the consoling, and yeah, it's but the region one is tough because some of those kids that make it to the blood round, it's their first time getting there, and they're a senior maybe, and yeah,
and
it's
it's as tough as you were saying, Jason. I think the pressure on that may even be tougher than the finals in the region.
Oh
Like
no,
that
I
that is
I
like
think
the
so.
highest pressure that you're going to feel until you get to state semifinals, state finals, is I think in that blood round.
well, yeah, because the 2 region finalists have punched their ticket. So let's
Right.
be honest, the goal right now these weeks is survive and advance, and then get to the state tournament. And like Bill Parcells said, when everyone gets to the dance, when you get to the tournament, everybody's 0-0, right?
Well, or as the
Oh,
great as the great me said,
that's right. If you get to the dance,
you
you
get
have a
to the dance, you
chance.
got a
When you get
chance.
to the dance, you got a chance. That's right. Oh man. Sticker
All right,
time.
Dan, before we move regions, do you have one wait?
Let's see here. I mean, I don't listen. 105, 115. I mean, just everywhere is tough.
I like 105 as a good weight. It's got some really I recognize a lot of girls in that weight.
Um, yeah, and also 235 is, I mean, is man, it's heavy, it's loaded. It's
No
got
doubt.
a lot of ranked girls, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So somebody told me that it's top heavy.
It is. It is. I mean, all right, let's move to region
Region
one.
one, yes.
Region
These are all
Uno.
taking place on Saturday. Region one is at Mosley, up in the Panhandle.
Okay.
Uh,
And do Brant or Dan, we can
Yeah, let's
do
do.
you
I
want to
mean,
jump on one first?
here's a perfect example we were talking about earlier. 120's got three ranked kids in it, right? So not a lot to
Four
battle.
ranked kids, but yeah.
yeah.
Oh, which one am I missing?
I don't know.
You have Kendall, Ariel Walker, Jocelyn Kuros, and Mary McKinney.
Oh, I wonder how I missed that one. Mary McKinney. Four, perfect. All right, but I was going to go down to 24. I mean 25. You've
Hmm.
got eight ranked wrestlers there. Um, and what makes it interesting is they're all in the bottom half of the rankings. So I think they're really close.
125 is wide open.
Yeah.
You've got Amelia McKnight from Lincoln, who, when she's on, she's as good as anybody in this bracket, and she's been on as of late. Claudia La Costa Perez Oviedo can beat anybody on any given day. Um, our Cardinale Michelle from Matanzas, she's been doing this um, high level wrestling for a while. She'll be prepared and ready to compete. Anyone could win that bracket.
Yeah, I like it. It's going to be a fun bracket to watch and definitely interesting. So, okay, 125. I'll say that. And we just spoke about it. Obviously, I can keep going 145, 105, 110, 115. I mean, they're just all delicious.
Brant?
It's funny you said 145, but let's start at 140 first. Where two different reasons that we want to talk about this. 140, you have Mary Ellen Wingate from Lake Mary on the top line, senior there, who's been working really hard. Um, Gotten so much better in the Rams program there. At the bottom, you have Kijana Gavari out of Pace, state finalist last year. And
Yeah.
on the three line, you have Bella Guerrera LaJoy out of Columbia. I hope I got that right because she's 29 and 0, and I think she could do damage to me if she got mad at me saying her bad name. She is a bad wrestler. She's had a fantastic season. Um, she's my pick in this, just to give a little bit of a preview. Um, we've not seen Gavari against as the same competition to like comparison. But they do have one like opponent where Bella won by a bonus point and it was a decision the other way. But 29 and 0, she's tough. I'm putting her in this, but any of those three and Wingate just gets she'll possibly have Kelsey Marshka in her semi, but any of those three I think can win this weight class. But I can't really tell you who. I've redone my picks on this two or three times because I had Guyana winning it the first time.
And
And
so for me, yeah, go ahead.
go ahead. If you got one, I was just gonna give Dan his 145, but you pick
You
which one
said
you
that
want.
was 140 you were just talking about, right?
Yes. But you said 145 when you were randomly speaking. I'm like, actually, that's a great weight. So I was
Yeah, it's
gonna
145, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 Cabra ranked wrestlers coming
Hmm.
in. Uh,
two first round matches between ranked wrestlers.
yeah, it's incredible with Alicia Villar getting a two seed, Taylor Pelchat a one seed, and uh, and then you got the three being Cherry Lewis and the four down there with Marley Young. But any one of these girls, they're all tough. I'm excited to see that one. Tell us
Villar blood
about
round
them.
wrestler
Tell
last
us
year.
about them, Brant. Tell us how you feel about this one.
Villar blood round wrestler last year. Pelchat state qualifier, I believe state placer. They met way back in November, and Villar won in a first period pin between the two at Flagler to open the season. Uh, those two are the ones you can expect to be there, but just so much good stuff. I mean, Cindy Almonte and Marley Young in the first round, Sanaya Thomas, Vivian Williams in the first round. You have Zoe Good and Cherry Lewis possibly in the quarterfinals. There are not too many easy matches in this, and it shows the depth of some of these regions and some of these weight classes in these regions. That one definitely, I think, showcases that.
So
Yep.
for me, it's 170. And again, it's really only 170 because um if you are sitting in the stands and you have the opportunity to be watching probably, I mean, I would say fairly likely the finals between Torino Rushing, Fargo All-American from Mosley, unbeaten, returning state champ, is that right? No.
No,
No, state placer. Um, and Alexa Coladonio of Flagler Palm Coast, who is ranked number two by Brandt, but we have seen compete at the knockout. I'm pretty sure a couple of her losses were down there. Not, I mean, Flagler goes everywhere. They compete
Yes.
against everybody, and
Her three losses are one to Rushing and two to McFarland from King.
right.
3031. I could not put more above Caliendo. And she beat more. So that's how she is ranked too. But she placed fifth last year at 155. Rushing was sixth at 190. But they're two. Actually, Calidonio is a two-time placer.
Two-time placer. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Well, and honestly, that could be your state final. We're
it could
looking
be
way ahead.
way ahead.
We don't know that that is actually what's going to how it's going to play that. I would have said McFarland was your big favorite at once upon a time, but after just suffering the loss last weekend, you never know. Rushing has been absolutely fantastic. She
Oh,
is
Yeah,
unbelievably talented.
really unbelievable this year.
I'm not. This isn't a situation where we're looking at the backside and wondering who's going to be 3 and 4. I'm really much more looking at the front side and the potential clash between the top two individuals at 170, not just in Region One, but in the entire state.
yeah,
So,
and
But the backside is interesting here, just so you
no, I no,
know.
I'm sure the backside's going to be interesting. But that's why it drew my
Yes.
attention.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you have a one versus two in a region, that I think that adds some excitement to it.
All right, so let's jump to Region Three.
Yes.
Okay. And I am very happy that we have seen corrections
Yes.
from Once Upon a Time
A fix
because
of the AI, if you will.
Jawolski versus Portello being opposite sides of the bracket, Diaz, McDonald being opposite sides of the bracket. If you guys have not had the opportunity to see Diaz and McDonald like battle it out. I don't know what the current like head to head is. It's got to be like 2-2 or something. I mean,
yeah, I mean the
they
two that I saw this year was the knockout
yeah.
and the Colby, and they were both incredible. And I saw Jaslyn win the knockout. I saw Zoe win Colby. I'm glad that I was in there for both of them. And these are two young ladies that should be there late into the weekend of the
Next
first
weekend.
weekend of
But yeah,
March.
Diaz has two
Yep.
wins over McDonald. McDonald has a win over Diaz. Diaz 3 time state placer. McDonald 1 time state placer. Um, just loaded, and they're not on the same side of the bracket, so that is even better.
All
Yeah.
right. So somebody give me one weight.
I just saw the weight that I was going to give you. I was going to say 110, what we were just
Okay.
talking about. Um, Obviously, with those two on separate sides, I would look forward to if anybody is out there in that area, if that's a match, if you want to see a tremendous match, there's a good opportunity and a good chance that those two are going to be in the finals. And I definitely
Yeah.
would sign up to watch those two wrestle 10 times in a row. It's fun, it's good wrestling, and they're
Well,
both
and the
well.
bracket itself is
And the
good. I mean,
bracket,
there's a lot of really
yeah,
talented individuals.
yeah, I mean, what's at one? You've got Mia Sposato, Lily Smith, Sophia Perry, Natalie Moreno, Zoe McDonald, Jaslyn Diaz, Jordan DeGlassi, and Dallas Amar, who are all Cabra ranked wrestlers and come in with tremendous records and all having very good seasons. And and there's some girls in there, like an Alyssa Rodriguez who's 22 and 13, a young freshman out of Palm Harbor that wrestles tough. So you can go through and see people like that, and it just interests me. Now I want to send it to you, Brant. What do you think about the
I'm
bracket?
gonna pull up one that we could see a top 6 wrestler not make it to Kissimmee. 125.
Mm.
125. First off, I think is one of if not the biggest toss up on the girls' side, where you could make an argument for a bunch of different girls that could win that weight class. It's just there's no um, set leader there. But the one we have right now, who has earned her spot as number one, Savannah Porter, She's on the bottom of this bracket. Cora Hayes, who's been wrestling really well at North Fort Myers, she is on the bottom half with her. But at the top, Callie Rodriguez, 35-2, the district champ on the top line, and right below her on the next rung, Sophie Simons, state placer out of Naples, second place in her district, which means we have a number 4 versus number 5 in the quarterfinals. The loser of that, if you don't know how this works, goes to the bottom half of the bracket.
Yep.
To the Conti semis. If Porter and Hayes make it to the finals or to the semifinals, the loser of that goes to the blood round. And we have 2 top 6 wrestlers wrestling for a spot in Kissimmee, and the other one will not be going.
And a potential rematch of the district final, right?
Correct. Yes.
I mean, we're not saying that Simons is going to lose or Hayes is going to lose or whatever, but you have that potentiality of those 2 individuals renewing, a match for a spot in the state in the state tournament. As a former coach, you would see things like this a lot. I always had the philosophy of, you know what? You don't mess with like the wrestling gods. You go out, you wrestle your match, you win as many as you can. You never try to take a loss, and how it plays out is how it plays out. Because the truth is, if Simons were to take that loss in the opening round, her spot to go back through is potentially much more open. But I'm not a believer in that. That's never been the way I thought about it. So just my 2 cents.
Something we used to see more before the seeding. And then the other one I want to point out that I'm looking at is 170. We've talked about 170. We just did with Region 1. This is where you have more McFarland. McFarland's now on the top half of the bracket where you have Riley Lancaster.
Who's with Lancaster, who's tough.
Who's back and healthy and wrestling really well. And so I'm curious to see, how does McFarland bounce back? How does Moore now handle a spot of being more of a hunted than a hunter, because now she's not out there? And then you have someone like Anaya Harris, who's 15-3, and we haven't seen much of her, but does she get into the mix? Alavia Reynolds out of Port Charlotte, who I don't even know if she's listed on track yet. She just came, like mid-season, and she has beaten some good wrestlers. So there's different potential hills that go away from the big stories here. And then if we have a more McFarland rematch in the finals, what happens there? So 170, lots of different storylines to follow in this one.
So you could get a Riley Lancaster, Isabel McFarland in the semifinals.
You could.
Wow, that would be a fun one. I mean, they're both tremendous wrestlers. So,
So my pick is at 100. And the reason that I picked 100 was I like watching Sophia Bowie compete. She's a senior. She's been on the podium a bunch. But this is a weight on the guys' side. We see a lot of younger wrestlers down at the smallest weight classes. That's not necessarily the case in the girls' side. Ashley Slagle is a senior. She won. She's ranked number 9. Hannah Frett from senior. Bloomingdale? I think that's what that is 35-3. She's a senior. This is a fun weight to watch, in my opinion. And I will be really interested to see who kind of positions themselves to get on the podium, because I think that your placement at 100 pounds out of Region 3 is going to be super important to your ability to make a run next week or a couple weeks from now
for them,
at the state tournament. So,
and interesting to note,
there's some girls in there that aren't ranked that could be landmines. I mean, there's some tough girls in the bracket.
And just to note, you have Ferret and Schlegel on the top, and Schlegel, when she wrestled Bowie, it was a 1-0 match that she lost in. And Ferret has wrestled Bowie twice, once lost by fall, but another time 9-5. So they're ranked lower, but you could see a really good final here too if it plays out according to the rankings.
Cool.
I mean, obviously another great final that we're probably looking forward to is the number 1 girl in the state versus the number two girl in the state at 105, right? Seeing
Yes.
a possible.
Kowalski and Partello.
Roskin and Partello both have had tremendous, since the offseason, both these girls have really jumped levels, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see those.
Partello, three-time state placer. Kowalski was state placer last year. Partello's actually ranked placed second last year. They've met twice this year, and the Brandon Jr. has won both of them, once by fall, but once 3-2. So that's
So
definitely
the
a
one
final.
thing
I
that
mean
I
that those two are good. They
Okay.
are
Yeah,
good.
what I love about Partello is you never see her wrestle the same person the same way twice. Like she's really good at making adjustments. She's really good at doing. And Grace Jaworski is just, I'm coming. This is how I wrestle. Stop me if you can type of
That
girl.
is
no
100%
one
right.
and nobody has stopped her yet.
Yeah.
All right, so
30,
let's jump to
34 and
region
0.
4.
Yes.
I'm only pushing you guys along because I think we've now been going for over
We've
an
been going for
hour.
a while, but I
Yeah,
mean
so
everybody's
let's make sure we
excited.
wrap this up. Region
One thing I want to
4.
point out about Region 4 before we start, the first
Yep.
year that Region 4, or the first year that girls was sanctioned, Region 4 had 5 wrestlers in 235, and I think 5 or 6 at 100. And a lot of the other weights were scattered with buys. Not the case anymore in Region 4.
No. And I mean,
That's
I just say, look, 100, I mean, 100 is just absolutely,
a great way to start. That's perfect.
100 is absolutely stacked. And you have the number one and number two girl in the state at
Mhm.
there. They have wrestled, it feels like 3 times a month this year. Um, and the last one was, I think, a 3-2 win by Marin, if I
I
remember.
have 5-1 and 3-2 as their 2 meetings this
Yep.
season.
So the last one was Cozy, but
And then they met in the Sunshine right before the season started, and that was a close one too.
right. So these are two girls that I've been following and covering since they were very young. And to see them now at 1 and 2 in the state is just makes my heart happy. And I think that they're going to have a hell of a run here, and we're going to get to see it again and again and again. So good
You're
luck to them.
right,
But
but
Ava,
again,
you've got Ava Tover, you've got Alessia,
yeah.
you got Lanny Santana, you got Sarah Newell. You've got Hasanover. You got Lydia Gonzalez, who was injured the first half of the season. She's coming off of a knee injury. She's coming off of an arm injury, but she is a girl that is tough as nails. She's going to fight and grit and no quit to her. So yeah, this is definitely stacked. Um, but I am glad they put those two girls on the top and the bottom because this is going to be a hell of a bracket to come out of. The 4 girls that come out of this bracket are going to be battle tested.
So this is a perfect example, absolutely perfect example of if you had just had your formulas, there is a possibility
There's a
that
chance.
Marin
Yes.
and Perez would have ended up in the same semi. That basically would negate anyone on the back side of trying to make the freaking podium if you got put on the wrong side of that side of bracket. So I'm not. It's just this is a positive thing in my opinion. A very
Absolutely.
positive situation that we've changed to.
But
Brant,
one thing I love about this bracket is ninth grader, ninth grader, ninth grader, ninth grader, ninth grader, eighth grader. Girls wrestling is in a great spot and it's in good hands. There's a lot of hammers moving on this year, but the young ones coming up are
I
great.
agree.
Yep.
I agree.
Before we get to my weight, I need to make my weekly mention of my alma mater. But at 135, talk about 2 seniors, Isis Estes Brinson from Miami Palmetto, go Panthers,
Your alma
and
mater.
Shamari Smith, South Dade. They have battled not the last 2 weeks because I think they had a week off between GMACs, but they wrestled in the GMAC final. They wrestled in the district final, and both of them were down to the wire with Estes Brinson winning 2 close matches. If they meet again this weekend, expect another great final between the 2 of them.
Awesome girls, tough girls, and
Yes.
they just both of them battle. Another set of girls that are going to come and wrestle their match, and you just beat them if you can, right?
But the weight to watch 235.
Woo, let's go there.
Kenzie Barrett, top line, South Dade. She gets there after beating Um, as we said, Camila Halaby Bravo from Florida Christian in their district final. And the bottom in the second seed spot, Zainab Morad from Douglas. She is a freshman. She is 18-0. She has not seen some of these girls during the season, but I can tell you she was beating girls over the summer. She just started learning how to wrestle this summer. And I'm pulling up my summer results right now. And she was wrestling a little bit of a hybrid 190, 235, but she has a win over Brian from Coral Springs. She beat Malvis from Freedom. She beat Sykes from Sun Lake, and she beat Sylvester from South Broward. Now, she also lost one to Malvis and lost one to Brian. So here's a girl that um, had the coach, when I talked to him before the season, he didn't even know what to expect from her. She comes in here. I have her ranked number 5. She's in that second spot. In the third spot, Kylie Eugene from Flanagan. Her one loss this year is to Morad. And then on the fourth line, a girl that's having a great season, Michaela Bryanville from Lincoln Park,
So
22-2.
it's Brainville.
Brainville? Oh, is
Yeah,
that
it is. She told me at the knockout. That's how you say it. So
okay? So, but it's spelled
I
Brian.
know.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
just
I'm
telling
just
you.
making sure that I had the spelling right since
You did.
I like to have
It's
those.
Bryanville. No,
Brainville. And she has this
Briannville.
season, she has a win over Hallaby and she has a loss to Barrett. So these girls have wrestled each other. They know each other. Then you throw
Do.
in one, two, three, four, 5 other ranked wrestlers in this mix. This was a weight class that had 5 girls in it 5 years ago, where all you had to do was make weight, and 2 of them made it without even wrestling, uh, having to wrestle anybody. I mean, this is the weight class to watch, and I anything could happen.
I agree with you, and that was going to be the weight that I was going to talk about, but
I
I will
no
pivot.
wonder I'm in a
Um,
spam folder.
but I will say, it's actually a great example of the growth
Yes,
of women's wrestling and the quality. Honestly, if you watched um, Mavis and Barrett wrestle in the finals at the Knockout, I mean, we're not
and
talking
and Freedom
traditional
too.
heavyweights just
2,
kind of
yes,
pushing each other back and
yes.
forth. We're throwing,
Yep.
and somebody's gonna end up on their back. So,
Well,
um,
we all remember the greatest fight we ever saw at the first ever girls state champions at the heavyweight. It was an amazing, amazing watch. If anybody goes back, it was a wonderful moment. Good fight.
It was a moment.
at one, so mine is at 120. I saw Annabella Junco for the first time at the Knockout. I came away really impressed watching her compete. But I will tell you that you've got a number of girls all across the bracket
It's a
that
hard bracket to get out of.
yeah, I
It's a
think this
hard
is going
bracket
to
to get
be
to
a
Kissimmee out
bracket
of.
that's going to be a
Yeah.
lot of fun to watch. Lana Locks. I don't know if that's how you say Lana's last name. From I think is that
Wellington.
Wellington? Yeah. Wellington. She has been around for a long time. She's a senior. You've got Bohr from Fort Pierce Central in there. You just have a lot of really talented girls that I don't see a whole lot of separation from. I see them all being pretty close to one another, and I think the battle to make the state tournament, especially in those consi semi matches, is going to come down to a 1 point match or a takedown or whatever, and that's going to be the difference between some of these getting through and some of them not.
You mentioned Laux, 3-time state qualifier. Boer, who has a win between the two this year, uh, 2-time blood round wrestler
Yeah,
in the region.
and
Lot
we
on the
saw her at
line.
the knockout,
Yeah, and lot on the line in this one. Um, Carmen Moya, she from Palmetto, she
right?
injured or did not wrestle the final against Junko. Don't know if that is what is going on there, but if she's there, she's tough. Chloe Cook, a freshman at Sebastian River, has had a tremendous season, uh, kind of putting her name on the map. And then you have Awen Reeves from
Yeah,
South Dade in the first
2025.
round. Just it's insane.
Well, and honestly, again, if you're looking at trying to knock off Freedom, or if you're South Day and you're trying to,
Gotta get
I
as
mean,
many through as you
getting
can.
people to the state tournament, this is it. This Reeves in this bracket, it's a very important because if you can survive this bracket, you can score points in Kissimmee.
Yes.
So, but you got to get there to be able to score the points.
Yeah,
So
the
this is going to be
team, the
really
girls'
important.
team race in Kissimmee starts this. So it started last weekend, but it's really starts this weekend. Stuff that happens this week will help determine the girls' state race
I agree.
next or 2 weeks.
All right, guys, that is our kind of
Just next week we'll have 12 regions to preview, but no other things going on.
we did a pretty good job of encapsulating some big
Yes.
ideas of this upcoming region tournament for the girls, and honestly, much more in-depth coverage by Brant. He'll give you some of his predictions and everything else across all the
I
weights.
will predict all four on every podium on the girl side. I will tell you two girls who could prove me wrong. I'll even give you a match to watch in the opening round that you don't want to miss, and then I'll tell you why I came up with all that. And if you prove me wrong, I'll have stickers.
Stickers, stickers.
Guys,
Um, all right. Well, we
this one,
appreciate you guys spending the last 2.5 hours with us.
Yeah, it's like we
And
started this on Tuesday. It's Thursday now.
if anybody made it this far,
Yes.
first of all, good luck to all the boys starting their run and the one girl starting her run
That's
on
right.
the boys' side this
Yes.
week. So good luck to you guys. As far as the regional side, all you girls, if you punch your ticket, remember
Yes.
$5. The link is in my bio. I posted what the graphic will look like. I'll post it again this week, and hit me up. And remember, if I do the graphic, it shows up in lights at Kissimmee.
Yep.
All right, guys, you
Want to
take
get it?
care.
All right. Let me